All right. This is Mia. She's from Denmark. Age 38 and 11. Uh-oh. Mom is 5'4". The kids are 4'11". Mom is 150 pounds. The child is 110 pounds at 11 years old. Hypothyroidism. Yep. Well, obviously the formula of choice is the endocrine gland formula. But he's coming off a 5'4" mom, and let me see if this is a little girl, a little boy. Oh, children. She's got several then. But whenever your thyroid is low, you want to also think about what controls it. So when I'm thinking of thyroid, I'm thinking pituitary. I'm thinking height of a person, I'm thinking pituitary. You know, skin tone, all these sort of things. In terms of melanin, but in terms of wrinkling, I'm going to the parathyroid gland. So this likely has a pituitary connection, even if it's a small one. TSH. Even if it's a small connection, the mother's only 5'4", so I'm thinking, there's some connection there with either the thyroid itself, but also the pituitary with that. I'm writing you because I truly believe you may be able to help me and my children. I am 38 years old and have 11-year-old twin daughters. Holy moky! Holy man, twins. As a child, I had frequent ear infections and was treated many times with antibiotics. And here's that thing, congestion. And this congestion, it can get all in the brain, can get everywhere. It's mucus. And that's what all this is about. And then, of course, the antibiotics. Remember I was telling you on the last video, this case on a week in my body, I think they call it. But he got bad reaction. I mean, so bad. What antibiotic is designed to shut down your endocrine gland system? It was like all his endocrine glands just shut down. He went from being a black man to a white man. I mean, you could see it was classic shut down, and the parathyroid shut down. He's losing his bones. So it was like, whoa, holy crap. That was that to have a pharmaceutical on the market that powerful is a huge freaking no-no. I mean, this poor lad, I'd like to get him, but the chances are probably slim next to none. But you never know. In seeing that, it was extremely obvious that this antibiotic or antibiotics suppressed, like in a major way, the endocrine gland system of the body, and hence part of the central nervous system and the autonomic. What? The autonomic. So, it's to take a pharmaceutical, trust in that, and then your life goes from, radically the other way. They should be held accountable big time. They could have been, who knows. But this is just like ridiculous to have that type of side effect. I was later diagnosed with hypothyroidism and have been taking medication for the past 15 years. Oh, yuck, honey. My wish is to heal my body and eventually come off of this medication naturally. Okay, so one thing's for sure. You're going to work on your pituitary. That controls the thyroid, but uh-oh. So take a look at these two differences. All right. So the child has got blue eyes. Well, I mean they're white. Well, I mean they're Her lymph system is really backed up. Look at the nerve rings. This is on the bottom here. Look at the nerve rings. she's got a lot of lymphatic problems. But then when you come to Mama, holy crap, Mama's got the same color eyes. Oh, yeah. Wait, well, no, Mom's yellow. Yeah, this is a perfect example of a subacute eye. Perfect example. I love it. But this is a serious lymphatic case here. Pretty good genes in terms of organ weaknesses and stuff, but I'm telling you, you've got Mom, you've got heavy lymphatic problems. Okay. So there's real darkness where your thyroid is. At this point, I just see heavy lymph, but then there's possibly a lesion looking in there. I don't know. I would need light on. I'd need that part of the right eye lit up toward the nose. There's your pituitary. You've got some radius solaris up into the brain. That's these dark lines that are going up from the transverse colon into the brain. There is some prolapsing of the hepatic flexure and the splenic flexure, and particularly over here on the left side. But those are going up into the head, Mom, and there's for sure you're going to have a pituitary influence on your thyroid. Whether your thyroid's good, but now your pituitary is the one doing it all. The other problem to this is, what are you on for the thyroid? And again, when you start taking these hormones, the body quits making them, it gets even worse. So you're going to have to work with, if you're serious about this, you're going to have to work with titration. Maybe get with Jessica and have her work you through it or whatever, but not difficult to get off a hormone, a steroid like that, but you can't just stop them. No, they act like a anti-inflammatory, like prednisone and stuff. You stop it and you have an explosion because it's such a suppressive agent. And so, you've got to move. You've got to work on your lymphatic system. Both of you and your daughter, both. Your daughter's got heavy lymphatic problems herself. Let's take a look here at the daughter here for a minute. She has heavy congestion in her sinuses as well. What is this? Left. Well, she's had a little bit of thyroid, parathyroid, but she has a little pituitary too. So you have to watch your daughter here. Daughters. So there's a weakness in her lower lobe of her right lung, including the bronchial trunk. She could clean out her liver a little better. She has some pancreatic weaknesses for digesting her food. Her upper femur's a little weak here on her leg there. Upper neck, big time, and throat. And be careful with her upper neck because she's got a pretty good weakness in the upper C-spine and down and probably in the upper L's, lumbars, or lower thoracics. She's got a big kidney weakness here on the right side, and that could be bladder or vaginal and uterine. So that's right there. Left side, her left leg is weak, so that pulls me here toward her parathyroids. She, in her throat, has some real chronic weaknesses in the throat and upper neck here. Right side, almost degeneration in the throat a little bit. It's something that would be in the back of your mind, but almost pretty sure she has genetics in the heart. So she has a little heart weakness showing up here. Perhaps a little left shoulder, hard to say. Kidneys on the left for sure. But the throat she could go through a real sore throat and a lot of detox experiences in the throat. But you both have nerve rings, so your adrenal glands are chronic on top of having a pituitary weakness. And that you just got to both get opened up and get malabsorption in both of you big time. Yep. Skin weakness, showing thyroid weakness. But you can use glandulars. Like I'd pay real close attention to my fingernails, make sure I don't get varicose veins or spider veins, things like that. Because between you and your daughters, that parathyroid is going to be real important to maintain bones, and for your daughters, particularly to be athletic and everything, you want to make sure that parathyroid is brought up there. So the endocrine gland formula would be a good one. You might double dip when you're using that as double dosages. 2 dropperfuls twice a day ought to be good. At the same time, you're going after the matrix of suppression, which is going to be your lymphatic system. So you're going after your kidneys and adrenal glands, real important. You all family want to make sure your pituitaries are in good shape. You for menopause and your daughters for conception and carrying to term and all the important stuff. Okay. And so when you start going on something, you can go on a glandular for these things, but start out real low milligram dosages, like 20, 15, 20, because they'll bring your thyroid up. And when you're doing that, you can titrate off your other one. Can't just stop it. So if you were so choosing to do it yourself, you could titrate off of that, or ask your medical doctor if he'll help or she'll help you do it. Good luck with that. I also have you want the parathyroid glandular. Parathyroid glandular, take one in the morning and one in the evening. You want the endocrine gland formula, double dip it. You want your kidney, get that first kit, but keep an eye on it. You're going after your endocrine glands because you've got nerve rings from chronic adrenals. This tells me parathyroid. Did you have postpartum depression with the girls? But this is telling you that, and you just don't want to go down that road. That's your bones, connective tissue, so many dealing with hernias, aneurysms, hemorrhoids, just a whole line of crap. Menstrual problems like nobody's business. You don't want to go that way. So she has spider veins on the legs, loose skin, and stretch marks. Yeah, and again, that's showing your connective tissue's weak. Well, that goes to the parathyroid. Then you're taking stuff for the thyroid, but you really have pituitary. Yeah, you for sure have a pituitary. Now, you can't just work on a thyroid when the pituitary controls the thyroid and it's down, right? Doesn't make sense. And that's one of the problems. You might not even need a thing for the thyroid once the pituitary is working right. I worry that my daughters may inherit these problems. And I want to support their health in the best natural way possible. Definitely. Teach them that we're primates. Teach them, make fun out of this, that we're the strongest animal in the jungle, and that we use our brains and develop empires and stuff, and that fruit is brain food. It can be difficult guiding them toward a healthier diet. No kidding. At school. Oh, joke. They are surrounded by unhealthy food. Oh, yeah, always. Always. And then there's the stay overnight at the friend's house. There's that one too. Yeah, even if the food is vegan, it is still processed. Yeah, and it's vegan. We're frugal. Hey, I like that. Vegan, frugal. We're frugal, not vegan. Yeah, I mean, what about a horse, an elephant, a rhinoceros, a giraffe do we look like? They would feel left out if they only ate fruit. Well, we can change the game on them, and teach them that only the smart ones eat fruit. Most people don't understand the smart ones eat the fruit. In the meantime, it is okay for them to use herbs even if they are not fully raw yet. Hell, that's when you want to use them. If so, which herbs would you recommend? Always go after the kidneys. And with they're 11, I don't know if you want to go with the regular ones, alcohol ones, or go with the glycerin ones. The glycerins taste really good, but the alcohol are more powerful, in my opinion. But you're always going to go after, think about this, you're always going to go after the kidneys. You want them to what? What does the kidneys have to do that's so vital that you want to watch out for and teach your children the same thing? Sediment in the urine. You must see, you do not want clear. Doesn't matter the color, you don't want clear. In other words, you don't want to see sediment if it's yellow, purple, pink, or brown. You want to see goodies in it. So you're going after kidney and the lymphatic system. The lymphatic formulas for kids, you can do half a dosage on those. Who cares? If you get them to eat the fruit. What you can't eat in fruit, you got to do in lymphatic formulas, basically. The endocrine gland formula is a must-do, right? Yeah. With the daughters, you can use you can use nerve power. You can do that in yourself if you want. It's all about affordability and where you want to go, but we got a lot of nice formulas and a lot of nice new ones coming. The Leaves formula, Leaves of Life, are almost done. That's the above the ground group, more spiritual group of plants. Just saying. But your lymphatic systems are key. Your endocrine gland systems are key. The GI tract. Something to clean the bowels and to if you need help moving, but you shouldn't on a raw diet. But going that way. But mama, you got a lot of lymphatic stuff to do. You got blue eyes, honey, and they're not very blue. Yeah. Your left side is a little lighter than your right, so your right side's where you're really backed up. As a teenager, I struggled with depression. There you go. Right there is she's been struggling with her pituitary and the hiccup on the parathyroid for years. Obviously, there's her depression. Anxiety is the adrenal glands. This lady suffered because of her endocrinology, and not even an endocrinologist can help her. I mean, isn't that stupid? Hair loss, low iron. No, your adrenals are down. Hair loss means your head is too acidic. You don't want to start losing hair. That means your tissues are too acidic. And that does breed cholesterol, calcium problems. Honey, where'd I park the car kind of syndrome. I was also very afraid of illness and often went to doctors. Yuck. Didn't do you any good. I had many scans and tests with radiation. Yeah. Oh my God. Which worries me when I think about it today. Well, get yourself raw and clean all that radiation out of you. When my daughters were 2.5 years old, I became pregnant again with twins. Sadly, it turned out to be a partial molar pregnancy and ended in miscarriage. I just think you ought to work on yourself before you start dropping more babies. This experience is very exhausting, both. I bet, honey. 9 years ago, I became vegan and many of my symptoms improved. My lifelong eczema disappeared. See, so skin, your lymphatic system is a mess. Your sewer system in your body is a mess, sweetie. You have to have blue eyes, and you got yellow eyes. You got the perfect subacute eye. I stopped sleepwalking. My chronic headaches went away. My knee, which was planned for surgery, healed naturally. I love that. I feel there's still deeper healing needed. Until your eyes are blue, I would say so. It's going to be some work on you. But you really want to make a challenge. It's how quick can I get these yellow eyes blue? And like I said, I think you're going to see it. Yeah, I think you're going to see it on your left side turning blue quicker. Even with these improvements, I feel there's still deeper healing needed. I would like to detoxify and regenerate my body. You're not so much, which is cool, you don't have so much cellular weaknesses, but you got heavy lymph, and then, of course, your endocrine glands are down, and they literally control everything. And you tell what you've been struggling here with, especially my thyroid and lymphatic system, and hopefully it's more than your thyroid, dear. Your parathyroids are down real big, and your pituitary's down. We'll see about the thyroid when you get your pituitary back in shape. At the same time, you can use glandulars. You always use your low milligrams first. When you do, you can titrate off your pharmaceuticals. Or ask your medical doctor to help you do that. I still struggle with hormonal breakouts before my period. That's just because you're lymphatically messed up and your hormones are not in balance. But get your skin, your lymphatic system. That's everything you're going to see. One of my daughters also has small pimples on her arms and cheeks. I am attacking photos of our eyes. Yeah. You know your lymphatic system is getting backed up when you start getting these little bumps and humps and little pimples and little pockets of pus and stuff like that. Yeah, you know you're backing up pretty good. But no one knows how to identify that except you guys, and that's why you guys are so important in helping this world out there. You just don't know how important you guys are. This world is a sick puppy. And it's got so much misunderstanding, like fruit. Instead of your daughter going, oh, they're going to laugh at me eating fruit. No, you're the king or the queen because you're eating the fruit. Only the higher beings know what to eat and how to eat better, not the lower ones, if you can say it that way. I developed acne at the age of 23 and used strong creams from dermatologists. Oh, yeah. Love those guys. We've been talking about this, for about 10 years. I stopped using them 5 years ago, and now my acne, thankfully, gone. Good. Keep digging in. Keep digging in to where no matter what you do, you don't see any eruption on the skin. Sometimes I feel like I cannot take a deep breath. Yes. And again, when you do, find your pulse line here and hold it until you can hear your heart, feel your heartbeat strong. And then you can take it off and you'll take a deep breath. But that's your adrenal glands. That's your neurological system. That's why you have the nerve rings. And that's one of the symptoms of that asthmatic or COPD chain. Can't take a deep breath. Neurotoxins can do it to you too. They can shut down your ability to take a deep breath or breathe properly. And taking steroids, of course, shut down your adrenal glands. It's like taking your thyroid stuff is shutting down your thyroid even more. Stupid. I wonder if I may have ADHD because my mind often feels restless and stressed. I think you're so acidic that you just need to hyper-relax. But you can't do that when your body is so acidic that everything is, turned on. So you have to find a way to separate yourself from your bodies. Have a good out-of-body experience. My children are vegan. They were vegetarian until about 1.5 years old and then became fully vegan. What about fruitarian? We're fruitarians. We got to start teaching our children that, whether we get there or not diet-wise, all right, but at least we have to understand that our species, without your understanding at first, we're just going by pseudoscience. I don't even know what science says humans are now. But true anthropology is right on the point. Okay, I also have periodontal disease, which both of my parents have. So what does that mean, Mia? That means your sewer system's backed up even in your mouth. You're backed up head to toe, sweetie. Your daughters are backed up pretty good too, but you are literally head to toe. And you got to open those doors and get all this opened up. That's really the rest of your life you're going to be thinking about that, because you're pretty backed up. And you've had enough symptoms. Your endocrinology, you need to straighten that around. Don't freak out when you're working on your own endocrinology. When you're on the hormones and steroids, you can always go to half dosages. Muscle test if you want. But when you use a glandular and you're using herbs, this enhances the function of these. So you don't want to stay on the same dosage of your pharmaceuticals that you're on. Your whole goal is to come off of it anyway. So the word titration, go slowly. Go kind of like taking a pill. If you're on 2 pills a day, you go down to 1 a day. But at the same time, you're doing something for it. You can't just stop a medication when you're, especially a hormone or steroid, when you've been on it. Those have a little what we call residual kick. And especially you guys are taking for steroid suppression of your skin problems. Holy crap, that is a nightmare. This poor girl on A Week in My Body. Started out with a little acne, here and there, and she used steroid creams more and more, and then got extreme steroid toxicity. She's fixable, but she doesn't know it. And the things they have her doing. You try to get out there. This is Tyson at 38. Tyson is 38 years young, 6'3". So there's the opposite side of this. There's pituitary involvement here, but more to the hyper side. Overview, adrenal glandular health. Well, Dr. Morse, my name is Tyson. I'm currently working with one of your students, Jake. Oh, yeah, Mr. Jake. Jake from Australia land, to get over chronic fatigue and several other symptoms. Yeah, it depends how chronic. Blue eye? Nah, probably a light brown. Well, I don't know. Look at that real darkness around the pupil. Well, let's see what this eye is going to show us before I read it, and then we'll see how it lines itself up a little bit. Chronic bowels, no question about it. He's got a chronic gut. Big time, especially on the left side, but chronic gut, radius solaris up into the brain a little bit, chronic adrenal gland, chronic right kidney. I'm going to also say a little bit of a chronic prostate, to be careful with that. Lower back, going to get you on this one because it reflects the kidney here. So the lower back's a little on the chronic side as well. The appendix is chronic, and your pancreas. You also could use a little gallbladder liver cleaning. I'd use a liver gallbladder formula, and that'll help the pancreas out pretty good. But Yeah, I mean, you've got lymph nodes that are up. Your skin is weak, so that takes me right into thyroid, parathyroid, and sure enough. But you've got a pituitary for sure. So you got to kind of, again, there's only so many systems in the body, so you always keep it simple, really simple. So the sewer system is always the one we work on, right? That's uno number one. That's the cause behind it all. So you always work on that system. Second one up, for me, is going to be the endocrine gland system. Because literally the pituitary, all of them, they control everything, but the pituitary is the big one. But yet the little one. But it's still, your adrenals are big deals to mineral utilization, sugar metabolism, gonadals, the whole 9 yards. The adrenals are vital. Well, then here comes the parathyroid, thyroid for bones and stuff. So, yeah, that's vital. So your endocrinology should be right there. My sewer system and my endocrine glands, which controls everything. These two are the first two systems that are always worked on in herbology. Now, I always throw in a bowel formula. It's a good example. Look at all these chronic bowels people have. This young man has a lot of brown right around that pupil. Look at all that. If any of it's sulfur, maybe. We look at this one, though. That doesn't give me a sulfur look. That gives me a chronic bowel look. And your malabsorption ring is a thick one. You have a lot of malabsorption, man. Yeah, on the left side, you got more lower back. You got more lower back out of that. The kidneys are always involved. You have kidneys on the left side, of course, chronic adrenals. Do we have nerve rings? Well, it's hard for me to see whether you've got nerve rings or not, son. But you need a lot closer picture. I mean, we're looking you're trying to pick a picture too far away from you. You want an up close and personal picture. You guys are holding the camera too far away from yourselves. Got to be a lot closer and make sure you get that light shining across there, and then we can see a lot better your weaknesses and stuff. If we're going to look, we might as well look right? Yeah, back of the head, you got a lot of lymph problems back of the head and weaknesses back of the head, particularly left side here. You could get into some equilibrium, dizzy, vertigo problems with that. Questionable about the spleen. I'd need better pictures and stuff to work on than these. Yeah, I'm going to also say that you're probably affecting mid-lobe, but your bronchial trunk and mid-lobe of your right lung pattern is involved. Left ear, right ear, or mastoid areas a little bit. I can't see much on this left side. Looks like a lot of activity back here on the left, back here, but hard to tell. All right. I'm Jake from Australia, fatigue, chronic fatigue, and several other symptoms. Well, chronic fatigue is definitely going to be his adrenal glands. Just chronic adrenal glands, so that just gives you chronic weakness in the autonomic nervous system and just chronic fatigue and breathing problems, on and on and on with that kind of stuff. Okay, here we go, get this. Including poor digestion. Yeah, I'm showing pancreatic weakness, so we have a formula called liver gallbladder, or it's blood liver in the handcrafted line. Truly recommend it for a while. And start working on the gallbladder liver, but also on that pancreatic. Start chewing your fruit better. Start your fruit. You'd be the last one at the table to leave. Now, because you've got to fix that and you want to go after your bowels. Your whole bowels are chronic. You have malabsorption big time. Here's another one, dizziness. I'm not surprised at all that you have dizziness, and we talked about that looking at your eyes here, because back of the head problems. So again, also originates in the bowels. So how easy is this? What's the number one system we always work on? The lymphatic system. It's the cause behind all the problems, pretty much. Lymphatic system, right? You have to eat a certain way. I mean, working on the lymphatic system is a big deal. That's the core of everything. What's the second one? My glands, they control everything. My adrenals, have you heard this over and over? My adrenals are shot. The glands are everything for you to work on. So always number 2. What might be number 3? Bowels, GI tract. Because they're literally the embryonic trunk. They're literally exposing to you all the genetics and everything. So your GI tract is important. Those are the 3 main areas we work on always. I like to hit the liver, gallbladder. I like to kill parasites. I like nerve power. See where we can add these things in? I can add a lung. I can add these other things in to go into these other areas, but I need the areas that control everything. Your lymphatic system literally is the sewer system to all the stars. Little houses. So that's always should be uno number 1. Other than that, you're trying to treat your problem without fixing the cause of it, and generally you can't get a remedy that way. Matter of fact, you take yourself deeper in hell mill sometimes, depending how you treat that. Brain fog, terrible tolerance to exercise. Yeah, I mean, your endocrinology is down, and I wouldn't exercise too much only because of the parathyroid. Become severely fatigued for days after moderate to high intensive exercise. Yeah, your adrenals are down and not recouping themselves, but your pituitary, all of that's working together. So you just relax. Do passive walking and stuff like that, and get in there. You start focusing on the right foods to get in there with. Your neurological foods, that's your fruit. Your lymphatic herbs and fruit, that's your fruit. So you're always going after these things. Get yourself on a high fruit diet. Watch the body move itself around, clean itself up. You got a good picture of your eyes. I think you can make a better picture. Closer and a little more light on the side, and I think you'll light that up like a Christmas tree. Let's see, the fatigue and lack of body resilience to tolerate a strenuous exercise, that's your adrenals, though. That's your adrenal glands, and sometimes they don't come back very easy. I think I can. But you also have the main gland sitting there going, no, you're not. So you got to go, yes, you are. You got to wake everybody up. And that's the beauty of taking some glandulars sometimes, low milligram glandulars, and not forever, but like a bottle of this, a bottle of that, but parathyroid for sure. As long as I can remember, but not as severe as it is now. I was told by a CAT scan last summer that I have moderate thickening of the entire length of my GI tract. Well, for them to tell you that, I'm going to say you have a chronic thickening. You have chronic lymphatic problems in your GI tract. That's why the thickening. And whenever you have thickening, you have the potential for nerve and blood flow suppression. Yeah. Small intestine to colon. Absolutely. So just remember this, guys. Anytime you see hypertrophy, which means enlargement, thickening, things like that, it ain't your blood doing it. That's your sewer system doing it. All the lymphatic system. I used to get pneumonia, well, case in point there, every year, and was always getting sick, allergies, runny nose, severe chemical sensitivities. Which system are we talking about here? Hello, broken record. This is your lymphatic system. This isn't your blood problems. This is totally your lymphatic system doing all this. These ailments, they're not ailments. They're conditions of lymphatic stagnation and acidosis. They're not ailments. Have went away since removing dairy. Yeah! Just because, of course, I don't even know if the world realizes how mucus-forming dairy products are for you, because you're not supposed to be on them after age, my opinion, 1. But you can't drink milk without. I grew up with this crap. I grew up with drinking milk. I hate that. I look back, it's the one thing I hate so bad. Constipates you, clogs you up in your sinuses, in your throat. How many people have lost their tonsils because of this? Adenoids? Oh, yeah. Or brain tumors. I mean, this is how you go to tumor land, is dairy products. Bad, 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 and bad. Removing dairy and meat from my diet and mostly eating raw fruit. That'll clean you up all right. Did me good. I finally got my sense of smell back. I didn't realize I lost it. The poor digestion and low energy have been very slow to improve. Well, but you got chronic stuff. When you have chronic issues, you got to give it time, guys. There's no magic wand. You got to give it time. Give the body time to work on these. Remember the lymphatic system and how involved, how many miles of lymph capillaries and vessels there are. I'm tall and extremely thin. Yeah. Pituitary malabsorption. I get a lot of backlash from friends and family for being so thin. And that's the problem. And there's a lot of you guys and gals out there like this. This society has its head so far up its butt, and while the medical doctors are grooming you, the idiocy of all this. And that's what we're facing. So many young people are suffering from so many things. It's sad to see. And then your family jeers you because you're having serious problems, and they don't, oh, look, you're starving yourself. See why it's so important that you guys learn and teach others? I mean, the ignorance is just so everywhere, and I'm so over it. A little bit of background on my genetic history. My mom recently passed away at age 60 from lung cancer. Holy crap, you mean she passed away from the treatment of lung cancer? You should never die from lung cancer if you do everything right. You're going to have tumors in your lungs till the day you die. Doesn't mean you're going to die with them. You can stop them from growing. You can start moving them back the other way. It's easy. Easy sneezy. She was frequently tired and had to have naps all the time because what had to be down for her to have lung cancer or breast cancer or liver cancer? What has to be down? Your kidneys and adrenal glands. There's your energy. The adrenal glands is everything, but it's also your kidney connection. Sodium-potassium balance is in the thing. My mom had a huge dairy eater. Ooh, that got her. The Bush people were doing well. Remember when the Bush people were on TV? It was a dad and a mom and their how many boys and 2 girls out in the woods of Alaska. Then they finally moved to America. The mother had no problems until they got the cow. They got a cow out in the woods. I'm going, no. Well, then the mother got diagnosed with lung cancer. And I go, I actually wrote them. I said, it's the cow or goat. While pregnant with me, she gained roughly 50 to 70 pounds during pregnancy with me, pounding milkshakes. You can't make this stuff up, and it's sad because they don't know any better. Can't blame anybody. It's just, you can only blame those that know and suppress for money, like the Rockefellers. My dad was known to take hard drugs and heavy alcohol, which I was conceived, and I was working in a chemical factory with very bad fumes. This is sad stuff, man. Most of his co-workers there have since died of cancer, I bet. My father is now 65 and in really good health. That's good. He is really good shape. He has much more energy, vitality, and strength than I do. He eats McDonald's type. Isn't that disgusting? That was funny. I was caught at McDonald's the other day. I'm sitting there, and this lady walks up to me and she said, "Are you Dr. Morse?" This is a McDonald's. And I'm going, "Not today." No, come in, have a seat. I didn't have to tell her why I was in there. McDonald's was outside of a big shopping mall, outside mall, where you have Staples, which is a huge. That's where we get a lot of our supplies, our office supplies, and then there's Books A Million and all that in this place. And I'm in Staples getting some office supplies, and it was horrible because I did that Cinco de Mayo the day before. Now keep in mind, I only had a taco salad with just lettuce and tomatoes, but I used the dipping sauce, the red sauce. Ooh, that tore me up. So I was on the pot all morning, so I'm thinking I'm pretty good. So I'm going to run to Staples. I had to go to the gun shop, and then I had to go to our insurance company. So I stopped in, and I'm feeling like, uh-oh. So I hurried back to the bathroom. Closed. I'm going, closed. So I hurried up front, and the manager was checking people out. I said, "Hey, man," because I've known the manager there for years, good friend of mine, and I'm going, "Hey, man, you got a bathroom?" He goes, "Oh, under the slab break." He said, "We all hit the McDonald's over there," and I'm going, "Oh, no." So that's how I ended up at McDonald's. Oh, man, I had to go. Smokes Marlboro Reds every day, but my mom was Chesterfield King without the filters, non-filtered Chesterfield King. Not trying to put them down, just want to paint the full picture. No, I get it. My main question is regarding taking adrenal glandulars for long term. I don't recommend them for long term. I really don't. If you're going to use something long term and your blood pressure is decent, use licorice root. I only use glandulars for 1 to 2 bottles. I know some chiropractors up there stick you on some of these. I don't muscle, and of course you always muscle test after a while because the adrenal gland formula can work and make you strong for a couple months and then actually make you feel weaker and more tired. So you want to be careful with that. You know, there's a saturation. I've learned this so much in chemistry, and I was just talking to Pat the other night about this because we're talking about finishing our book and stuff. There's a saturation of chemistry that's, you know, because if there was no, and that's what creates that. Because if you looked at the electron proton, that can be a tick-tock clock that's always working. You could never hold form. You know, and so for there to hold form, chemistry to hold form with a homeostasis of the electron-proton transfers and all this, I mean, that breeds some other questions about images and the mind controlling chemistry through electromagnetic frequencies, and then who's controlling the images of the mind, and you can get into a lot of spiritual questions on that one. So just be careful about overtaking them. It's not that you get dependent on them, it's just that they become ineffective or have a negative connotation. This is true on everything. There's a certain saturation you reach, and then you always know just you want to change and do something else. Last summer, I injured my lower back at work and was out of work for a while. I didn't want to, but I looked. Did I see lower back on yours? Didn't I see that lower back on yours? Well, you got chronic weakness there. Be careful. Last summer I injured, steroids. Oh, my God. And what is this? Meloxicam? To be able to ease the pain enough to return to work. Oh, wow. It gave me a bad GI. Oh, this Melo, it's MELOXICAM, gave him a bad GI bleed. That wasn't worth it. I mean, God, you guys just can't put these pharmaceuticals out non-toxic. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. Ate a hole in my stomach. Oh, my God. And then he ended up at ICU. Holy crap, man. Holy crap, Tyson. God dang. That's not good because you already have chronic gut. You want to be careful because you don't heal well from things. That's why, again, the protocols. Always work on the lymphatic system. Always work on the endocrine gland system, and always work on your GI tract. Then, I need the liver, gallbladder, pancreatic formula. Use that for a little while. Or I could use the nerve. It's all about affordability. Remember I told you Shania Twain was on 18 of those damn things at the same time. And I said, Eileen, no. She says, yes. I say, okay. Oh. You didn't talk down to her too much. I could. I mean, I received 2 pints of blood, constant flow of IV antibiotics, iron, isn't that stupid? We have a bleeding formula. Get it, keep it in your medicine cabinet, bleeding. It's for internal bleeding like that. Stops internal bleeding. What better to use than the herbs? Antibiotics? No, you just kill the bacteria in your lymph nodes. As soon as I was well enough to return home, I started having increased fatigue and weakness worse than normal. Yeah, you need to shift your whole plan. I don't care what your body looks like. It's skinny already, right? So you can't worry about it, right? Because I'm just telling you, forget that. Shift your whole boat around and start heading out of the rabbit hole you're in. And look at this. You've got a lot of lymphatic work to do. Chronically so in the GI tract, but where we talked about. And remember your endocrinology. Just remember, all these things are simple. There's 3 main areas that are essential to always work on in your body. You always work on your lymphatic system. Include your kidneys and your adrenal glands, your spleen, your gallbladder, your lymph fluids, the lymph vessels, your lymph nodes. That's your lymphatic system. It's everywhere. You're always working on your endocrinology. Your endocrine glands are what? Just a bunch of cells and 2 fluids, and one of them is the main lymphatic fluid. So you're always working on that. Your blood is being taken care of by your diet, because to keep blood viscosity good, to keep the blood cells from sticking to each other, you've got to be on a high enzymatic raw diet. Well, frugivores. So that cleans up the blood easily and nice. If you have blood clots, it unclots them. That's what your alkaline slurry does. This is just chemistry, 2 sides of chemistry, the only 2 sides there is. And you always work on this GI tract. This is a dirty burner. And man's been burning meat down it or humans for a long time. And it's a foul. Needs to be cleaned up. You get lightheaded, standing, dizziness, and rapid heart rate. Yeah. Also, nerve power. That might not be a bad one if you can afford it. Nerve power is nerve tonic. All the strong, most powerful. I love the formula, but nerve power, good one. I do that one myself. I started taking 2 400 milligram adrenal glandulars 2 times a day, and the symptoms greatly improved. Good. Now, your adrenals are involved, no question. They're chronic, but just remember that, on the glandular, give yourself a little break once in a while. Say, take a month off, and use licorice root. You look at your blood pressure. What's your blood pressure read? Both sides, And when your diastolic is around 120 or less and you're feeling fatigued, hit the licorice root. I also was eating 99% raw fruits on my diet. And remember that when you're telling me these things, you're also doing the diet with it. Key key. You don't want to get locked into that. Oh, look, I can take these herbs and I don't need to change my diet. Don't get locked into that. I tried quitting the glandulars several times, but the symptoms would quickly return to prior level. Oh, well, as long as they help you, you know, I love them. In stat needs, you've got these tools. And if you're going to bitch about animal products, look at the pharmaceuticals and the animal products used to raise some of these chemicals. I mean, fast forward to February of this year, I noticed that my heart rate was accelerated most of the time, especially when standing. I started working with Jacob at this time. I've tried coming off of the glandulars, have lowered the dose over the past month, but use the endocrine gland formula and see if you can titrate into that. Even if you're using 2 dropperfuls at a time, twice a day, but use the endocrine gland herbal formula to try to get off of the glandular formula. And there's nothing wrong with taking the glandulars. It's not like a hormone or steroid. So it only has cell-enhancing properties. So it doesn't matter how long you're on them. I mean, bite my tongue, but still, if you're getting a good result, then your body needs it. And, you know, why waste that tissue? After my first meal, usually great. My energy levels usually drop really fast after my first meal. Interesting, huh? Yeah, and that when your energy drops and you're eating food that's double your energy, that's pretty bad. Yeah, your endos are pretty down there. But just keep working on the whole endocrine system. Remember the pituitary, you're a pituitary, and the pituitary is the controller of everything. The heart rate usually goes back down to my normal range, and this could also be coming from the stomach and your GI tract, the heart rate thing and putting food in your gut. Oh, absolutely. It's becoming, you got a chronic stomach, and then those antibiotics ate a hole in your stomach. I mean, Jesus, criminy. So you might have a connection there. You got to let all this heal up. Get on this acid reflux. You know, start drinking a little of that down there. Let that heal all that up. On days I don't take much lower energy. This was happened several times. As of the writing, I take 10 milligrams of the adrenal glandular. Well, that's nothing. To keep myself functioning roughly once every 3 days. Think about the licorice root, the endocrine gland formula for all the endocrine glands. I mean, that's all we can do. Outside of that, you're visiting Mr. Hormone and Steroid world, and that's not a world you want to visit. Have you ever heard of anyone being dependent on adrenal glandulars like this? Sometimes people are on them for several years, man. Mm-hmm. But you just keep working on yourself. I have nothing to say but just keep working on yourself. And that is, number one system is the lymphatic system. That's the one system that's causing all of this. Number two, your endocrinology, which you're very aware of. Number three, your GI tract. In your case, I would also think about visiting the liver gallbladder formula and the nerve power formula. Try them. Power up with them. It feels like my body is dependent on them. I want to get off of these. I've never heard of people getting dependent on glandulars, but I mean, you might be the first one. I don't know. I never heard of anybody getting dependent upon glandulars. I never heard of that. I want to get off these and stabilize my heart rate and energy. I've been on these glandulars for over 7 to 8 months. Yeah, try to come off of them. But use the herbal formula to make up for that. Herbal endocrine gland formula. You know, and see if that'll make it up for you. Or licorice root by itself. Try that. Do I need to stop the glandulars ASAP? No. I know you usually recommend much lower duration. Yeah, but use them when you need them. It's not like they're toxic to you. Also, my blood pressure usually runs, 104 to 120. Yeah, you need licorice root too, son. Licorice root. Yeah. I would try to go to that way and the endocrine gland formula, because the herbs have more of a healing effect on the consciousness of the cell. And diastolic 70 to 84. Yeah, definitely kidneys. And then your top number's low to caboot on that. So that's why you're fatigued. I mean, that's your autonomic nervous system, and you need 120 over 60, textbook. When your lower number starts getting up above 70s, that's kidneys. Watch that. And then your systolic, that 120 is a good systolic. Having a 130, well, I'll take a 130. Heck yeah, I'm pumping, I'm doing. But you don't want to go much higher than that, and definitely you don't want to go lower. More people have low blood pressure problems than you realize. And this is low energy, low neurotransmitters, low breathing problems. I mean, it breeds all kinds of things. However, occasionally on the right arm, I get something like 104 over 94. Ow, ow, ow. And see how the oxy there, 104 is way too low for the systolic. It should be 120, right? So that means low neurotransmitters, and that's what you see. And then the 94, that's your kidneys. So your kidneys is where you're having a big deal, of course, but your lymph system's showing it. But that's why always number one, system to work on. Number two, endocrinology. Number three, GI tract. Then you can go in with the liver, pancreas, gallbladder one, that's a good one, nerve power, lungs, whatever one you want to add in there, parasites, I want to get rid of parasites, that sort of thing, you can add on top of that. That's the fun thing about making these kits and stuff. You can play with them now. We've got them all rated out for you like that, so you don't have to think about it, but still, fun to know what you're doing and having fun with it. I made these to have fun with, especially when they work so good. A good herbal formula, my God, you can feel them working so good. If they're not working, out. You normally don't see the systolic that low and a diastolic so high. Once in a while you do, but that's the oxy you have, because if you were bringing your 104 over 94, and that kidney is really blocked right then for some reason, really inflamed. Once you get that, pull that down, that 104 is actually not going to go up. It's going to go down more. Oh my God. If I bring that 94 down, if I can bring that 94 down to 70 within a couple of days, that 104 is probably going to hit 80, 85. And that's really in your face of why you're so tired. But you just keep working on them. Number one, it's all chemistry. All right? So number one, diet. Always. I don't care what. Oh, no. Yes. Oh, yes. You can't be wallowing in the world of dead animals and meats and stuff and expect to get healthy, because you're not going to go that way. It's not going to take you into Wellville. So we're frugivores, the fruitarians. We're the fruit eaters. We're the primates on the planet, and we have a lot of need for that fructose, the mind power that we need. I was drinking celery juice too. That's pretty cooling. But I think cutting it out has led to improvements with strings in the heart rate. Well, you have to check that. That I would not know. That one you'd have to be real careful. And this is especially true if they're not organic. I'll tell you, when you get in vegetables not organic, you run the risk of these pesticides and herbicides. But the quality has been lacking in my area of southeast Tennessee. As a rate, the quality of the grapes have gone away. I know. But you got watermelon in Tennessee. Come on, you got good watermelon coming up. Cantaloupe, mushmelon. You can eat corn on the cob raw. Peas if you're into all the vegetables, but I don't know when the apple season is. And peach, it's more toward the fall. Okay, I eat as many grapes as I can, but the quality has been lacking. Absolutely. All right. Oh, wow, man. Down, but the prices keep shooting up. Welcome to the world. All right. I would say be careful with the tomatoes, that sort of thing. I've been eating, only because of your gut. I've been eating the following herbs. Taking the following herbs from your line: kidney 2 and 3, smart. Spasm calm for tachycardia, not a bad idea. Yeah. Yeah. With this picture, I can't see your heart enough to give you an up or down on genetics in the heart itself. The influence on your chambers and everything is there because you have chronic lymph problems around the GI tract and around that area. Not all through the body, but you've got a lot of white. But if I'm looking at these, I can't actually tell. If I look at your left eye, you definitely have blue eyes. If I look at your right eye, I can't tell as much. But again, I need better pictures. As good as the pictures are, But yeah, back of the head, left side, I can see why you're dizzy. You got chronic back of the head problems there, left side. A little bit on the right, but definitely on the left. Bronchial trunk, lung. But it's hard for me to see that heart area in that eye. But take a look at it, because you can always take the heart formula for that sort of thing. All right, trying to draw this to a close. Lymphatic 1 and 2. Well, you only have to take one lymphatic formula when you're taking 2 kidney formulas. The lymphatic's pretty strong, so you never need to take 2 of them at the same time. Adrenal support, old formula. Neurological formula, look at that. Even all that is neurological formula. Endocrine, heart formula. Oh, wow, you're doing good then. Fungal, parasite, GNM. Yeah, you're taking plenty of that. But again, you don't have to kill parasites all the time. Just do a good month worth, and if you don't see anything in the stools or anything, you're good to go. Revisit fungal every once in a while, but not something you have to really focus on and do it all the time. Thyroid, liver formula, GI broom. I'll attach pics of my eyes. I appreciate the advice. Tyson, you're kicking butt, though. But, looking at your eyes and stuff, you're fighting chronic gut. All your endocrine glands look like they're suppressed. P.S. A note from Jake. If there's anything I may be missing here, your wisdom would be appreciated. No, you know what? I think you got plenty of formulas. You can cut out one of the lymphatic formulas. After a good parasite kill, throw the parasites to the side. You don't need to spend your money on that. I wouldn't spend the money on the thyroid formula. Use it up because you're taking the endocrine gland formula, right? Well, I would at least be taking you're taking the endocrine gland formula. And make that be your liver formula. Nothing there for the liver for that. Liver gallbladder formula, not a bad take considering what I see in the pancreas. And you can, when you're done with that bottle, use the pancreas and use that bottle. Go back and forth, that sort of thing. GI broom is a good choice. Yeah. Since I see clients with stable blood pressures have good heart rates, unless this is the heart weakness being revealed, again, I need a better picture to look at that. But, you got enough chronic lymph and adrenal glands and endocrinology problems to feel like you have a heart problem, for sure. I suggested some celery juice due to the salts. We saw a noticeable improvement in energy and also by dropping licorice root. Instead, using rhodelia root on a non-stimulative support for the adrenal glands to fill the gaps without the glandular has helped me to get the glandular intake down too. Good. Yeah, you're working good on this, man. I tell you, I'm proud of you. When you get chronic when you get chronic anything, that means those tissues are just going, What's my job? What am I here to do? You're my adrenal glands. Am I what? See, so, you're doing good. You're seeing there's nothing easy about this sometimes, and some people respond real easy, and, so everybody's different. But you can need a better eye picture for the heart look. But you would definitely feel it through the adrenal glands. But I know I can't see it. It's not the time. As of writing this, we have seen an increase in energy, ability to move, and increase more without the same crashes. I suspect this slow and snail pace titration is just a long road. It doesn't have to be real long. It really doesn't have to be real long, but you're working it. You're working it. You're working it. I'm proud of you, Jake, man. I'm proud of you, man. You're working it. You're working it. This is a note from Jake. You just can help him as much as you can, man. Yep. Like I say, when you're coming off a chronic, that means your cells almost forgot what their role was in life. That's why we know very little when we're talking about foods, whole foods, herbs, the consciousness within the chemistry of that, the consciousness that makes up the totality of that, and its effect upon the consciousness of the cells and stuff. I mean, we just throw out basic chemistry and throw out these things. No. There's so much of a deeper connection between your diet and your cells, chemistry, and how everything works, guys. And so when you start pulling yourself into some degree of normacy, remember the human is a frugivore. And it's just what it sounds like. We're designed to eat fruit. That's why there's fruit trees everywhere. God didn't make bad fruit trees. Humans just don't want to wake up to that fact. They want to wallow in dead animal meat and blood and all that other stuff. Yeah, it's real tasty. Big bite of blood. Yeah. But you are working at some chronic levels there. Yeah, and boot the skins down. Of course, that's going to, all his endocrinology, Jake's down. Of course, the elimination of waste. He could have a chemical around the GI tract. I mean, when you look at the left eye, it almost looks like there's a chemical around there. But then again, when you pull up here on the left or the right eye, it's chronic lymph. But there gives you a chance where there's this is probably a blue eye with brown in it. And it's just going to take you a while to pull them out of that. I love how you're doing with the titration and working yourself with this. But you know what's important? Hands-on. You're getting a lot of hands-on experience. And that's what you need. You need to see what happens when you quit eating meat, or when you start eating it back, or when you take this and you stop taking that. Being real sensitive to your health and watching things really, to me, is a higher calling. You're expanding your ability to perceive and understand your body. And at the same time, hopefully learning that it is just a body that you're using. All right. Perry, which is a man. Weisler, Wissler. Pierre Weisler, France, 40 years young, 6 foot plus, 155 pounds. Question on blood and regeneration. All right. Someone else Hello, Dr. Morse. I am French and have been listening to you for years, and I adore you. Same here, man. I haven't been to France in a long time. I have a question that may seem strange, but it concerns blood, plasma, transfusions from young people to elderly adults, which could rejuvenate and even reverse pathogenize Alzheimer's, that sort of thing. Okay, let me stop right there. The problem with Alzheimer's, dementia, and the problem with most diseases named by the medical community has nothing to do with the blood. It's a lymphatic system. You want to look younger, clean your sewer system. You want to get more vibrant, have more endurance, clean your sewer system. Change your diet, clean your sewer system. Moving to the fruit is the most energetic, less energy-robbing food that you can eat. And being that anthropology has confirmed this for back 20 million years, the Homo sapien is a frugivore. You can argue, but when we translate that into clinical work, that's when you see all the cool miracles and stuff. We've got blind people to see. We've got all kinds of cool things. People out of their wheelchairs. But it's the fruit diet that is key. Fruit is the magic for humans. It's not the magic for hogs, although they like fruit. But still, my horse likes some fruit. But he was a grass eater. So, it's just understanding the species that the human is. That's your biggest difficulty, is all this ridiculous medical theory. To have a theory that is as stupid as diseases, or even the theory of cancer, which is as bad as king-size stupid as you can get, and you want to rely on them for their health thoughts. Their health thoughts as screwed up as their disease thoughts. We've been run by the natural American Dietetics Association for years. Look at what the hospital serves. Look at what school lunches are. The crap of the crap of the crap of the crap. And these are at learning centers. Again, just because somebody wrote a book doesn't make the book true. And this is true in anatomy and physiology. Just because there's these highfalutin medical books doesn't mean they're true. Far from it. So you're just waking up to that, and realizing that if you want truth, you come to this station. But let me see here. So realize that the problem isn't in the blood. The problem, no matter how we bring the blood in. And really, the blood is so easy to clean and to clean up. All you'd have to do is change your diet into a fruit, berry, and melon diet. A salad once in a while, okay. But, and what's the magic? The blood cleans right up. Cleans right up. Your oxygen saturation goes up. Everything goes up. It really goes up when you clean the sewer system. Your sewer system is the focus of youth, age, all of that. And we've talked about this a lot before, between the Islander look and the Alaskan look. And let me tell you, you don't have to go much further than to look at these two sets of people, and especially the older ones, and how they were raised and what they were raised on. I've dealt with Islanders for 50 years here in Florida, especially because we're herbalists. And Islanders tend to move toward herbs as opposed to toxic pharmaceuticals. So just remember that, and blood work and stuff like that. You can make the blood as youthful as you can get it by just consuming a diet of fruit. But what about the sewer system? What about the acid side of chemistry? And that's the side you want to look at, of course. Aside from the ethical issues this raises, you talk about the lymphatic system, but bringing in fresh blood would also help with regeneration. Again, but all you've got to do is change the diet. Remember, the blood moves around the body in less than a minute. And, of course, you're going to clean up the liver a little bit, the chemical factory of the body, right? The spleen, of course, that's how the blood cleans itself into the lymph system, right? So, a little liver cleanup, a little spleen cleanup, boom, boom, boom. It's your sewer system, the kidneys, that sort of thing. That's behind the scenes in the heart, behind the scenes in the liver, behind the scenes everywhere. Because where there's a blood supply, there's a lymph removal tube. Where you have your blood capillaries, it feeds. You have your lymph capillaries that removes. How simple. How easy to understand. And there's only two sides of chemistry. And you could get you some acids and some alkalis and play on your skin if you want. Make you keenly aware of it. All you got to do is drink a Coca-Cola and a fresh, have yourself a Coca-Cola here. And in the one hand and in the other hand, either have you a really good green drink or preferably fresh juiced grape juice. Sip the Coke, sip the grape juice. See the difference. Feel the burn from the Coke? Well, that burn is right into the cells and will destroy cells. You don't have that burn you have a cooling sensation, an upliftment sensation with the fresh squeezed grape juice. Not with a Coke. Oh, that burns so good. No, it don't. That's not a burn you want, man. Chemistry is everything. And we proved that. How many years have I been seeing people? 50-some, 54. I mean, same year in and year out. Better cases maybe and deeper cases and stuff, but I expect to see what I see when I put you on a fruit diet. I put you on the right herbs with the right focus, the lymphatic system, the endocrine gland system, the GI tract system. Then I like to pick up the liver, clean that up a little bit. That cleans the blood up real nice. But just the diet alone cleans the blood up nice. It's the sewer system, interstitially, that you were going after. Aside, I would like to hear your scientific opinion. Hey, that is my scientific opinion. Not so much scientific opinion is that's what I see working in clinicals. That's what I see working on myself. Of course, I haven't had a sip of Coke in 30 years, 40 years. Oh, talk about hurt. I'm real sensitive to what's acidic and what's not acidic, put it that way. And there's no way. Anything carbonated, Well, that's amazing. We even put them in plastic containers. That's an acid. Coke is an acid of what, 2.5 basically in a plastic container. No wonder we're full of plastic particles. I need some money. I just want to sell one of my lungs. How much is plastic going for? Oh, God. All right. Sabrina, this is Spain. Ooh, Spain. Age 52, 5'5". So I'm going to say there's pituitary involved here, sweetheart. She's 264 pounds, so she's way too heavy. She's only 5'5", and she weighs 264 pounds. So you're going to find two things here. You're going to find the adrenal glands and the thyroid. But what's the most obvious? The pituitary. So she's got a pituitary that's controlling how much this pituitary is controlling her thyroid and her adrenals just depends upon her stats and looking at that, really. Because, and looking at the eye and seeing how much genetic weaknesses, if any, is in the thyroid or in the adrenal gland. Always in the adrenals, though, I have to tell you. But with a thyroid suppressor on top of that, these glands are not working well at all in people. So you can't just go after the adrenals. You have to go after what controls the adrenals, the pituitary. And then by bringing alkalizing chemistry into her body, getting her kidneys to filter, she'll get all the edema out of her. Her body will lose weight, go down, clean up the bowels. She'll get better absorption, and your body will clean itself up, dear. I'd like some advice about lipedema and eating only fruit. Lipedema. I only eat fruits and vegetables during the day, but I eat cooked food in the evening. I have been doing this since October 25th and feel very good and have lots of energy. Now, get rid of the cooked food before you eat, before you go to bed. You know, try to go try to get a little more fruit in if you can. Especially now that the weather is getting nicer. I live in Spain. Yeah. Got good oranges there, though, I hear. And there's more fruit available. Yeah. I want to expand this to just fruit. Yeah, and see how far you can go. Just take it, again, get yourself on a kit that goes after your kidney and your lymphatics. You're going to go after your endocrinology. You're going to go after your GI tract. And then our first kit got liver, gallbladder covered and things like that. But that's where I'd be going. My problem is that I'm premenopausal. No, you're pituitary. You're pituitary. You got to fix that, and then you'll see where your menopause goes. But you've got to fix your pituitary, sweetie. A life for a female with a pituitary problem can be hell. Gnarly, painful periods, irregular periods. It can be hell for a woman. So that's why I'm very compassionate with this sort of thing. And have lipedema all over the body. Yeah. Yeah, that's your sewer system, sweetheart. And that's, I need kidneys and skin for this. So kidneys, filter, kidneys. Filter, kidneys, filter. Urine. And work on that. Get yourself back to a state of wellness. And then, get a picture of your eyes and take a look at it, sweetheart. See what your body is doing. See where your genetics are, and have fun looking at that. But definitely, you're headed in the right direction. But again, your endocrinology is off. I don't know how much your thyroid is down, but my guess some enough in terms of rate of metabolism. Sometimes when your metabolism's off and all this, easy to gain weight, especially on complex sugars like di and polys. That's going to be your grains and your sucroses, maltose, dextrose, that sort of thing. But I think you're headed down the perfect path to be on, and now's a good time to go when these are just these few, and this lipedema all over. You want to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Let your kidneys start filtering more, your skin, sweat, all this start opening up. Check your basal temperatures under your arms and see where you are with that. Gives you some idea where your thyroid's at. Yep. All right. Got one more here. This is Manfred. Manfred Mann. This is a young man, 23 years old, from Denmark. 23, 6 foot, 155 pounds. Missing appendix. Curious about implications. Station tube and pressure regulator. Well, to have your appendix removed, which is supposedly the big lymph node of the colon, then you have lymphatic problems. But to have the appendix to where you had to have it removed, your lymphatic system in the wall of your small and large bowels pretty involved. I don't have a picture here to show me. Ooh, but this man is filtering. That's just what we want. That's when your lymph nodes are swollen, whether it's the appendix or tonsils, wherever, you want to start filtering as soon as you can and open that doorway up. Good job on that, on filtering. My first big shift towards taking care of my body was in 2021 when I got appendicitis. When I finally got to the hospital, they said I just had COVID. But to have COVID, to have any of these things like this, what system has to be down? Oh, the lymphatic system. Yeah, I mean, that's your sewer system. That's your immune system. Okay? So anybody that's a milk drinker, dairy drinker, and all this stuff, you're so susceptible for this like nobody's business because your sewer system's full of mucus. 2 days later, my appendix had burst 2 places, and I almost died. Oh, that was a bad misdiagnosis right there, wasn't it? They missed it. Wow. That's bad. Blessed thing, creation put that on my path. Biggest wake-up call of my life and starting catalyst of change. Well, it usually takes something like that. Don't feel bad about it. It usually takes that, something to knock you in the head to make a catalyst of change, just like you said. So don't knock yourself in the head too much. But it does tell me you have very chronic bowels, and that's malabsorption, of course, as well, and all that goes together there. So that's why the 155 probably. But again, chronic gut. Well, that's the core, and then everything else backs up from there, up in your head, head pressure, all kinds of glaucomic stuff. It starts backing up everywhere. So it's a system that requires removal of wastes. Medical world hasn't got there yet. I have been very curious as to what the implications of not having an appendix are, not cleaning your lymph system in your GI tract wall very well. Yeah, you remove your lymph nodes. The other problem is lipedema without controlling it, so you have to just see. Some of the things I have come across are that it serves as a hub for good gut bacteria. It's your lymph node to your bowels. And so for those who don't have it anymore, or guts have a harder time to rebalance, things mess up. B, that it holds a bunch of lymphoid tissue. It's a lymph node. Also to keep the gut in good health. And let's just keep the gut in good health to move your lymph system properly. That's your journey to the kidneys. Oh, and see that even as the ability to transform bacteria to other kinds of bacteria, depending on bacteria, this is the way we go to bacteria. We'll go, yeah, enjoy the microbe industry. Good, they're cleaning you up. All right, next. What's your problem? Your sewer system. And the more your sewer system's backed up, the more you're going to cause bacteria in your body that you might not want. So you got to get your sewer system under control here, my friend. So I am curious if you can elaborate on these points and give your take on it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The bacteria always seats itself. Like I said, I build a lot of custom homes. I never seat the septic tanks. In other words, put bacteria in them and stuff. They seat themselves. Life, you can't keep life out in the microbe industry, sorry. But the field of dreams, there are food sources you could keep down. And, of course, bacteria loves what side of chemistry the most? Protein. You want to go to your carbon side, there's your fungus. Also, what energetic difference does it make to not have this part of the physical body? Well, it means you're compromising of your bowel wall and possible tumors and that sort of thing falling. When you don't have a lymph node, then the only thing on the other side of it, the houses on the other side of it, can't get rid of their waste. So the houses start backing up, and we start seeing what they call lipedema, which leads to lymph nodes or leads to tumors. But, you rebuild, go all raw, get your bowels cleaned up, get on our formulas, get it all cleaned up, get your kidneys filtering, which sounds like you are, doing good, and let your appendix rebuild itself. That's what your goal is. Get your appendix to rebuild itself. But it was a huge warning that you had chronic bowel problems. What nerve endings, parts of the endocrine gland system, etc., are connected to it? And then, of course, what is your point to be aware of when not having an organ anymore? Rebuilding it and keeping that sewer system moving through everywhere you can. It sure isn't sitting there doing the same thing that caused it. No, you're going after it even though it's not there. Physically, it's still there astrally, and perhaps you can grow another one. Shouldn't be too difficult. Stay all raw. Right? Get your kidneys to filter more. Keep working on that. I love what you're doing. Will the body adapt and make other parts of the gut responsible for its functions? Its function is a lymph node. Lymph nodes have bacteria in them for what reason? Breaking down waste from where? The cells. What cells? Your GI tract cells, the one related to the appendix, especially the colon. Everywhere there's cells, you have septic tanks, lymph nodes, even in the blood system, and you have pipes, sewer pipes, lymph pipes. And when you remove part of a septic tank, that's what you're doing. Don't go crazy. You're just removing a septic tank. But that means serious problems already to the colon that's already probably chronic. And also the last question in this, me as a young man, yes, you are a young man to have your appendix removed. Do you think it would be theoretically possible that in a perfect healthy environment, if the body were to get to such a pristine homeostatic point, that the appendix could be regrown? Didn't I just say that? Oh, I think you can do it before you get to that point. Your body doesn't have to be perfect. I rebuilt that toe on that guy, and he's just a guy I didn't even know, just out of nowhere land. He didn't have time to get his body healthy. That's why these herbs and the diet are so key to this whole thing, because your chemistry is everything. And if someone says your diet or the chemistry you play with has nothing to do with your suffering, you don't need that person as a friend. I am thinking, though, prolonged dry fasting and other stem cell producing ways. I would do prolonged dry fasting, day or two here and there, so what? With conscious meditation on this being the intention to send energy towards, yes, the removed appendix. Well, you still have it there astrally, so it's still there, but you can regrow it. You gotta get 100% raw. Or I've never seen anything regrow in the body that you weren't 100% raw. This is a human potential. You can regrow tonsils. I've never seen them inside because no one's giving us research with that. You know what? The point and question number 2, can you explain a bit about the eustachian tube, its fluids, which I assume must be lymph-based, how pressure is maintained by the ear, etc.? My tendonitis is mainly on the left side. Well, you might ask Pat more of a much more detailed look at the ear. But remember, what is it made of? No matter what part of the ear, the horn, no matter what part of the ear we're talking about, what's it made of? Oh, cells and what? 2 fluids. Cells and 2 fluids, huh? That's pretty simple. And which fluids create edemic type of experiences or swelling type of experiences or inflammatory type of experiences? Which side of chemistry? There's only one, right? Which side? Acids, right? And acids pertain to the sewer system, right? They're the byproducts, generally speaking. I guess you're on a protein diet or something like that. But again, that means your left side there is your side where your lymph is backed up the most. And that just, of course, brings you into glaucomic pressure in the eyes in the future, macular degeneration. I mean, this is the building up of acids, which builds up of pressure, which sends out the word, help, help. And what's that word? Inflammation. I must also say that on the ear, doctors, they conclude I have exceptional hearing, so maybe the tendonitis. Nah, that's due to pressure in the body. Also, just my mind not being able to filter the subtle noise of blood. Come on, man. Although, man, I could feel my blood moving through my body when I first got into this. I had to get out of that. That's not good. Lymph and other flows and functions. At the moment I am, and that's getting too body. Too body conscious can drive you nuts. And so I'm not a proponent of that. Matter of fact, I try to teach to have very little body consciousness. Physical, emotional, and mental. You want full bore awareness. That's who you are. So you want full bore awareness. There's no cracks to hide in. There's no darkness. I can feel my head starting to flow like never before. Have never seen my kidneys filter as good as at that moment. Oh, why? Let me see what he's saying. At the moment, I am taking time to detox, and my lymph nodes in the neck and jaw are swollen. That's what I'm saying. See, and that's the same thing your appendix were. They were swollen. But they're swollen with what? Acids. And they can break down after a while. Anything that's acidic too long gets hard as a knot, whether it's a tumor in your breast, tumor in your lung, everything starts to get hard around it and then dies. I mean, come on, that's what acids do. No magic here. And this leads me to the third point. My left side is in general the one that needs more healing. Yep. Left kidney. Yep. Feel my right kidney is filtering better. My question is, what's your take on this? Absolutely. Your left kidney is not filtering as good. Remember, every cell is its own individual. Even every tissue is its own individual. Your right kidney is its own individual. Your left kidney is its own individual. So, and you can see all the circumstances, which body went down and which side is more problematic, that sort of thing. My thinking is just to try and activate the use of left side more. I also got an interesting thought about the breath and how that might be out of balance. Yeah, I mean, Manfred, you're a good dude, man. Just keep working on yourself. Keep working on yourself. You know you've already lost a lymph node. You got swollen lymph nodes in the neck. If there's any more hello, wake up signs to the lymphatic system, this is it for you. Hello, popping and a hopping. No. Get those kidneys filtering like you're doing and get them more. Get excited about that. And you'll start to see all this swelling going down. Your tendonitis, your pressures will go down. Everything will, yeah, this is good. Your awareness will relax. Your mind will shut the freak up. You hear that? Oh, yeah. The chatterbox of the mind. Oh, my God. And I got thoughts always coming in, and I got to make sure the ones I need and for my next move and what I need to do, and those that are just the teasers, the negative force teasers. Yeah, because as you wake up, you'll start to see there's those around you that don't want you to. You know, there's just creation, duality. I hope you like that new spiritual class. Let me know one way or another. I can always change it or add to it if we need to. But have a good weekend this weekend. I'm going to be doing electrical and water work this weekend. I started yesterday. I'm running electrical wires all around this new fence we just built. And I have lights every so often on the fence. And just, Martin with stuff. But love you guys, and I'm proud of you guys. Jake, you've done a good job helping people. I tell you, I'm proud of each and every one of you. It is what it is. The human body is what it is. And, the problem is just getting to the fact that we're frugivores and that humans should be eating fruit. That's a hurdle hard to get over for some people. I know. And then, of course, you've got restaurants and you've got all kinds of food out there. You were raised certain ways. Oh yeah, no. It's a rough place to be, this world and this planet. But you do your best. You keep learning how to pull yourself back and be more awake than thinking, right? More observing than thinking. At the same time, let everything relax. Let your body relax. Uno number one is always the sewer system. Uno number two is always going to be your endocrine gland, your bosses that control everything. Number three is always going to be your GI tract. And then you can have fun with that, whatever else you need to work on that. But by focusing in on these systems, you're going to open up all these other systems. That's the big issue. By opening up the lymphatic system, you're opening the door to Wonderland. You're giving your body the light. When you eat a fruit meal, you're bringing the light of God into your body. When you're eating a dead animal piece of meat, you're bringing death in there. So have fun. Have fun this weekend. And relax with this. You guys are doing really great. Some of you guys I am so proud of. There's just so much there we can play with. I didn't have this early on. So with you guys, I'm living my youth through you guys again a little bit, because it's fun to see you guys get out there and kick people's butt, get them healthy again. I mean, I can't tell you the advantage this is for you. Learning in clinicals what I had to learn through all these bumps and humps. We can go right past them and know what to work on and, what to do with these things. So fun stuff. Real proud of you guys. Have fun. Keep helping others. That's all I can say. And keep helping yourself. But don't pull yourself deeper into a rabbit hole. No. Titrate, work off your hormones and steroids, things like that as you will. Getting your glands back on again. No magic. If there's only a little hit like that, that's going to be the glandulars. So you use them now if you need them, and then no when you don't. Have fun learning about these things. It's not difficult. I try to make it as simple as possible. Bunch of cells and two fluids, like one chiropractor said, how more simple can you make it? I love you guys. Thanks a lot now.